Now, you broke some other news as well. Indianapolis Colts are going with a quarterback change. Joe Flacco will be starting this weekend instead of Anthony Richardson. This comes fresh off a day of every person that's been involved with the NFL saying that a quarterback can't tap out. That's just not how it works. You can maybe if you're strained or injured, but just to say you're out of breath and to tap out of a game, that is obviously something you're not looking for in a guy to lead a program in a franchise. They've talked about a lot of his stats. I think Anthony Richardson is a very good football player at times, but he is young. He's going to make mistakes. There's been drops too, so his completion percentage, which has been talked about a lot ad nauseum as being a potential historically NFL bad completion percentage. I think there's some more to context to that story, but ultimately, why do you think this decision was made to go to Joe Flacco? And what are you hearing from the Colts organization, who I am not talking to because I don't want to know? And what I said yesterday, I think who knows how they took it and how they heard it, because this is the first time I've ever said something like that about the Indianapolis Colts. Colts fans are pissed off at me for even saying it. Now Joe Flacco's quarterback. What are you hearing from the building, Shefty?
You know what? You know what the amazing part about this is this morning I got a call that this was happening. And I reached out to a couple of people to confirm. And I spoke to some people on other teams. And when I said, hey, my sense is that they're benching Anthony Richardson, the reaction I got from some very smart people was like, of course they're benching him. Like it wasn't even an option.
Okay.
I couldn't believe how strong people were. And so when I heard that, I'm like, okay, this is happening. This is happening. And, you're waiting for confirmation. They met as an organization this morning to go over it. They obviously broke up those meetings. My understanding is that they have informed each quarterback. And now the move has been made. And it's a seismic move on a lot of levels because you're benching the former third overall pick, who now becomes the second quarterback in that draft class to be benched, Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick, now Anthony Richardson. And yes, Pat, I do think it has to do with the tap out. Now, I don't know that. We'll get further comments. Oh, boy. Okay. Oh, boy. Okay.
Here we go, Lions.
Whoa.
Here we go, Lions.
No.
Lions.
That didn't sound good.
So, I think it's a case where...
What? Hold on. Let's not worry about Joe Flacco. Oh boy. What did, something just happened in your life. Something just happened. What happened?
I'm about to get a flu shot and they're ready for me.
Oh, that's what it is?
What?
Oh boy.
That's what it is.
Bullshit, Shefty.
Oh, what is it?
You're a bad liar, Shefty.
Oh boy. What was the boy?
You know what? Anthony Richardson should learn something like that. Like, hey, as I said, I got something stuck in my contact lens.
Oh, you lied.
What is
the oh boy? That sounded bad.
Yeah.
You talk about firing or whatever the case is. I don't view that as the move that they did with Anthony Richardson as a firing. I believe this is he's really young. He's been really young. He made an error in a game by making a decision to think it was okay to leave the field as a quarterback that is supposed to lead a team into a very violent sport. It's a tough guy sport. That's what football is. Quarterback position has to be the face of that. Maybe this is just learning lesson. Now let's have you watch Joe again. Like let's kind of, maybe we rolled out too early. We're not there yet. Maybe we'll be able to visit this in the future. I still assume that Shane and Chris and Jim Irsay and all the powers that be think that Anthony Richardson could become a great NFL quarterback. It worked with Jordan Love. He sat for 3 years. Patrick Mahomes sat for 1 full year behind Alex Smith in the building. He was in the building watching Alex Smith, watching how it played, playing in practice against the defense. Anthony Richardson, we don't even know if he was in the building last year because he got injured week 5.
Yep,
we don't even know if he had a chance to even see what an NFL season is like. Did he get a chance to watch Gardner Minshew, who made the Pro Bowl last year? Got 1 play away from AFC South Championship home playoff game. It's like, did he even get a chance to experience anything of what life in the NFL is or what an NFL quarterback is last year? Or did that all get taken away because of shoulder surgery? I'm thinking the latter. I'm thinking this year maybe getting a chance chance to realize what it is like to be an NFL quarterback, what it means to be an NFL quarterback, how you're allowed to operate as an NFL quarterback. And Joe Flacco being the guy you learn from, I think that's not a bad thing. I think this is a good thing, especially if it becomes a learning moment for Anthony Richardson in the future.
Yeah, I said it a few weeks ago. Him being, benched or putting Joe in there, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing for him. It's a learning experience. Definitely not ideal, for the organization, for the team. You want ideally for the young quarterback you drafted high to develop, become the face of your franchise, become an all-time great, 10, 15 years, win a couple Super Bowl championships. But how it ends isn't necessarily always connected to how it starts. So for him, you got a guy like Joe Flacco who can play, who can win. And this is a move, I think, for the locker room, because the locker room, you see it. Obviously, you're talking about what people are talking about on TVs and microphones, but that locker room, you have conversation, immediately.
Every player that had a microphone in front of him yesterday,
that's what I'm saying,
said the same thing.
Immediately, it's something you haven't seen. So it is a learning. It's going to be a learning spot for him for sure, and you hope he goes on to grow. But for that locker room, you have a team. You talk about it all the time. You paid a bunch of good players in that locker room. This isn't Max Crosby. Anytime he speaks, he's like, "Hey, I want to be here. I want to win. I'm not here and interested in a rebuild." It's a week-to-week, year-to-year league for these players. So it's a big move. Once again, not ideal, and you got to know everybody's on the same page from ownership on down when you bench, your top 4 picks. So it wasn't just that play, it was also the low completion percentage, and I don't think the film looked great. He wasn't protected under pressure, I think 6% of the time. But going out on Sunday, Joe Flacco gives this team the best chance to win. Now, that's just my opinion. They made the decision. Hopefully he grows and, once again, goes on to be a great quarterback, but I think it was the better move for the Colts right now.
Yeah, I think you just take everything into account. Yesterday, obviously, didn't help, or Sunday didn't help, and then the fallout from it. But you mentioned they paid all these guys. This could be a playoff team. They're good enough to make the playoffs, and Joe Flacco being in there, they've looked better than they have with Anthony Richardson in there. He gives them the best chance to win, and you can't really be in a position, right? We're still early in the season. It's not week 15, you're eliminated from the playoffs. Okay, let's put the young guy in and let him kind of get a bunch of reps. It's we need to go right now, and Flacco gives them the best chance to go right now.
Now, long term, there's going to be people that are going to look back and say, you could have given Anthony Richardson more reps, with that team. It's this team is – What years are we trying to win? What years are we not trying to win?
Yeah, what game?
Just so I know when we're trying to win, when we're not trying to win. When one position is not ready, but everybody else is ready, is that the years we're not trying to win? But then when what do these contracts look like? It's this team was
the Diggs situation now too.
They had to tell him he's still part of. Hey, you're still the future. I'm sure they told him, hey, your career's not over in Indy. We still expect you to be our guy.
I hope so. These Colts fans were mad at me yesterday for not defending them, and it's we were just pointing out how everybody in football feels about it.
Yeah. And here we are.
Legit.
And now you see how the team feels.
And now this is, exactly. And they have more invested than any of us.
Exactly.
Still believe in AR long term. Good chance to learn, though.
Yeah.
We'll continue to roll on YouTube and ESPN Plus. We'll see you tomorrow. Wow, got that in there.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. What the hell was Shefty talking about?
Has he not done anything yet?
Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna call him. Maybe I lied to him until we're not on air.
Does he do that for every kind of news he breaks? Does he have that reaction?
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
His
I'm about to bust.
That was
hey,
your
we're off
sense?
air. We're off air. What was it? That'd be so terrible if I did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
It's me and you.
I'm not going to do that.